order the budget work session that's been scheduled for today at 5 o'clock. And we're going to begin, and I'm going to turn it over to Lewis in just a minute. These have been very informative. I want to thank Lewis for setting it up this way. We've had all of our department heads come in and present the budget for their department in which they are working. What this has been, we aren't making any final decisions, just each department head is having an opportunity to state what's in their budget, why it's in their budget, the items that are needed, and then we can come back after we finish tonight, but we'll have finished all of the department heads, correct? And then we can begin to look at each department, look at the budget request. As we have seen with some of the departments, some of these were like a one-time item that may spike the budget up, in which it would be higher than the previous year. But it would be something that has been presented that each one of the department heads feels like is absolutely necessary to the budget. So, Liz, I'm going to kind of turn it over to you, and you can decide which one you want to go first and lead us through it.
Mayor, I think we had Randy, Superintendent Randy Dorr from the Electric Department scheduled to go first.
Okay? You would just come up to the podium. Don't want to put any extra pressure on you, but we have had some good reports so far.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This is the same thing we talked about in the previous meeting. A few things that I've got, unless you have another question about the increases we got on our certain items. One's going to be training. We're going to try to keep it at 10,000 if we can, and we're also get a benefit by doing that, because we got a lot to cover in our training area. And the other thing was building repair. We increased it for maintenance on the old building. There's a lot of things that we done. Painting one thing, adding some heaters inside the building. That's one little project we're going on. But system repair, well, I'd say we can keep it at that amount right there, but right now we're not actually doing just our system repair, but we're actually being able to buy certain things with that one account right there, as far as our LED lights and new poles and stuff. And we've had one in here for a while, the right away. It says PCB expended, it's right away actually. We'd like to see if we can keep that in there, because we actually planned on it one time, and I think it was last year, we planned on actually bringing a toggle truck, actually taking down some toggle trees. But it probably actually had stopped at one point, so somebody really wanted us to pursue it at the time, so that's where that money is right there. The other one is pickup truck. We've had it in there every year, trying to roll out one of our old trucks, trying to get trucks upgraded. That's what that is right there. And now a little bit bigger out of the tractor on there. We get another right-of-way tractor. We only have one now. We had two. One broke down. And now we're just kind of sharing one basically between three parts. Now at the bottom, these are the big items here. The substation. These are also estimates also. Substation 1, we got it set up at 400,000. Jail expansion, just a little higher than that one, 18,465. What the contractor has to do on that one. Everything else can be done by us.
Go back to the Highway 50 project. Just kind of inform everybody a little bit about what that might include.
I don't want to see more.
No. Did you change that one there?
That's actually going to be yours. That's going to be the track.
Good. Okay.
Now, when it comes to the substation, once we get this back up and running, we still have additional things we're going to spend money on. Back on sub 2, industrial park, money that need to be spent over there also. That's going to be later, but nothing really slowed down
your largest item is substation number one by far and away. I mean, to bring it back
That's
up.
correct.
When substation, one is online as it was before it went down,
Right.
we're able to divide the town in smaller, segments to reduce the number of outages that we could have at one time.
That's correct. You remember when the sub was down, you were mayor at the time, but you know, sub was down and then one outage was actually affected, you pretty much the whole town. You know, when we put it back online last time, it eliminated a lot of these sporadic outages you're talking about, so.
It could be limited to sometimes 25% of the time. You know, different sections being out,
Yes, sir.
instead of a almost citywide effect at times.
That's correct.
Well, I think that's definitely an item that, you know, that there's wish list and then there's the reality of some things that we have to do. And, we have Mr. Clark with us tonight, and, maybe as we move forward with that, there may be, some assistance, with a project like that. They've been very good to assist us, with, engineering and with even finances and resources and things like that. So it wouldn't be just a project that we undertake simply by ourselves. We would have some assistance with that, and which would be greatly appreciated. We may lean on you a little harder than you realize, but we do that anytime that we can. The jail expansion is one of those that would be a one-time. It's just the expansion that they're planning down there would be what we need to do to provide additional, services right there that we don't have.
For the time being, it's going to relocate underground power that's going where the new building is, it's underground. That's got to be relocated.
Okay.
And once they build this new facility, what I was told, the older part's going to be renovated, so there may be additional work to be done later down the road. But right now, it's on hold. I don't know what's
Are we
holding.
gonna be reimbursed by the county for these expenses that we're
That's
taking
correct.
on? We are.
Say, 18,465.
It was my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Randy, but for the most part, we were gonna reimburse, but then there were some other things that we were talking about doing while we were over there. At least that's what Jamie told me you guys were looking at when you were out. There was some additional
Yeah, he
items.
called me while I was in the hospital and asked me a few questions, and that's why I told him we can upgrade the circuit around there, so we won't have to go back in that one area, so that's what we're doing additionally right there. Moving some switches back, actually had to move the line back away from that fence line because the building would be too close. But maybe that's the answer to your question, I don't know, but that's additional.
Some of it's gonna be their cost, but anything that we would do would just be more or less an upgrade,
That's right.
just,
That's right.
to benefit us in the long run.
No, it needs to be done, yes, sir.
And I'm not sure the time frame on that now. Councilman, have you heard anything over at the courthouse? I know when they received the bid, it was like way more than they originally expected, so the last I heard, everything was kind of on hold for right now.
And when I returned to work, and it was on hold at that point right there. So.
foresee, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I don't foresee any other repairs that I know of, other than what I have listed on here for waste plant. So that's really the only two changes I had on waste plant. My water plant,
And this is still a learning experience, for all of us.
yes,
Tony and I were talking after the last meeting and everything like that, and we said, gosh, you know, this is pretty informative and everything like that.
yeah.
Just explain in a little detail, when we don't visit the plant and everything, what the aerator does.
Okay, your aeration basin is basically what puts your oxygen into the water. You have to have oxygen in order for your bugs to live, in order to get rid of bacteria, and to make your sludge reprocess through. So basically, without the aerators properly working, you're not putting oxygen into the water. And if you don't have oxygen, then everything goes septic. And if you go septic, then you're in violation. So it is a must that we keep this aerator going. These aerators, we have two, and we usually run one 6 months, and then we rotate over to the other one and run it 6 months for wear and tear. They're 25 years old, so the shaft on both of them have worn so bad that it's causing problems, and one is not functioning at all right now. And if the other one goes down, then we have nothing. So this quote, they will come in and get both aerators back to specs of what they need to be to run correctly.
And that's what, so we would have the two that we could rotate.
Yes.
And they would form.
Right now, we're running one,
Yes.
because we don't have the backup. But once they come in and do all the repairs, they will fix the one that's not in operation, completely fix it to where it's operational. Then we'll put that one in service, and they'll fix the other one to,
And make improvements to
Yes.
the one that's even running now.
Yes.
Just a little bit for clarification.
yes.
Okay?
Okay, on my water plant, I added a little extra to our building repair because we're having issues with our bathroom. We've been having issues with it for a while. And Richard Distribution, they come up there to see what they could do to help me. We have replaced a lot of our finished water lines that they could do, but my bathroom issue is gonna take somebody from the outside to come in, because it's gonna be knocking out concrete, because all the pipes are in the concrete walls and in the flooring. And we do not have the equipment. Richard and them do not have the equipment to do that kind of thing, so that's an issue. I might have an outside plumber come in and repair those repairs. Tank maintenance went up, so I added some more to it. That's where they come and clean our clear well at the water plant. We're on like a contract with them that we pay so much a year, so that when they do come out, it don't cost us an ungodly amount of money for when they do come out. Lewis informed me of the price increase on that. The testing, it went up because every 9 years we have to do those fluorine samples required by ADM. And this happens to be the 9th year, so I had to add those samples into my testing budget. And my new equipment at if you notice at the bottom of my my budget, I have repairs and new equipment. I gave you all a copy of the SCADA system I would like to get for the water plant. This SCADA system will be hooked up at all 4 of our tanks. It will give us information. It will tell us what level of water is in our tanks. Right now, we're in the blind. We have to come up here and check our tanks, see what levels they're on. Before we shut down at night, we make sure all tanks are full before we shut down. With the SCADA system, we won't have to run up here to do that no more. We'll have it on a computer screen. It will show us, you know, what our tank levels are. It'll also show you a drop in the PSI, which can indicate a leak. So that will help Richard and them out too. Also, this is just my portion. This is what they would charge for the water plant to do the 4 tanks and for our system. But it is going to be set up to where we could add things to it. Like if Richard wanted to put his lift stations on there, he could actually have them viewed on a computer. You can actually link it to your phone. So if a lift station goes down, a pump goes down, it'll automatically send you an alarm. Because right now we have no way of knowing unless you visually go out there and check them. So a lot of the plants, I'm not going to say every plant, but most all the plants have went to the SCADA system. operators, it just helps you out. It helps out with your unaccounted for water. We have no idea if these streets overflowing, because it don't have an altitude valve. So, industrial don't have an altitude valve. And the way our system works is, when the water leaves the plant, it fills up county first. When the altitude valve closes off at county, then it goes to fire station. Then the fire station altitude valve closes off and it finishes filling up the other two tanks. If we have the SCADA system, we'll be able to know the level in each one of our tanks all day long. So it's just, it's a really good thing to have.
And
And it's very beneficial.
would that actually be located at the water plant for you to read?
They actually can set up 2 screens. Richard can have one at on his computer, and then we'll have one set up at the water plant.
Okay.
That way, if he does, he can view the the tanks, and also if he sees a difference in the PSI, then he can indicate he's got a leak somewhere in that area, and he can send his guys out to try to locate the leak, which will help us out, because a lot of times these leaks are places that are not visible. So if one of your tanks is showing a drop in PSI pressure, that normally means you have a leak somewhere in town in this area. If you can link it to that tank, then you know what area that you need to check in. Where right now, you just notice your tanks are dropping, you don't know what area it's coming from, you just have to start looking.
That's when they go digging up all
That's
the
right.
time.
That's right. So, this would be very, very, very beneficial to us if we could get this. You can read a little more about it. It tells you, I saved us a little money by Randy and them doing all the power to these panels that they'll put up. Because if they did that, then they would charge us even more money, and that's money we could save with our own guys doing that. Also, I gave you this Thornton, Lissow and Bellman Corporation. This is Joel. He's
Dude,
what do they call you? What's your job title?
Consultant.
Consultant, okay. He's a consultant with them. He came out after we went to a conference in Mobile, and they've got this new chemical process that they're using. Well, it's not really new, it's been going on for several years, but new to me. They're feeding the chlorine dioxide, and basically it does away with a lot of your other chemicals like caustic and K-minophore. K-minophore is what turns your water pink if you feed too much, that kind of thing. But several plants are using this now. Roanoke is using this. Towsea, and he said that they just started, Opelika is starting to use this. But it's supposed to decrease your DVPs also throughout town, give you a better water quality. I'm not asking you to approve this tonight, but they're willing to do a 90-day trial for us to try it, see how it works with our city. If it does give us a better quality of water, better results on our DVPs and other areas of town, then after the 90 days, then we would pay the amount of money that it costs them to put the equipment in. But they're willing.
How much is that?
It's on there. I put $15,000 in my budget, but I think it's actually like $9,000. It's on the next to the last page. It breaks it down at the end of the trial, and then 45 days, 90 days, and then it's the total follow. I would have to submit approval through ADM, which I talked to ADM, our engineer that comes out and does our inspections, and she did not have a problem with it because they've had good results from this new process that the plants are using now. So I do have to submit approval to start a trial, but I can't do that until I get approval from y'all. This is something that we might want to do. So that's basically, I'm just explaining to you why I put this money in my budget. I'm not asking you to approve it today, but it would be beneficial because we did have a high percentage on one of our tests, and I sent y'all an email about. We're not in non-compliance, but it is getting to that level. This right here would help out a lot with reducing a lot of our DVP results and stuff. So, and if y'all have any questions y'all want to ask him about it, he can fill y'all in more. But I gave you all the paperwork that they sent me on it. And this is just a comparison to what we're spending out now on chemicals versus what we would spend out using the few chemicals that they're going to add to it. So actually, it cut it down about $1,200, but we're still gonna be having a better quality of water.
We've got just a little time, I'm not
Oh,
trying to just drag things out or anything like that, but the actual council meeting will not start until 6, but could you at least just tell us a little bit about maybe Roanoke or Tallahassee or
Yeah.
somewhere where you've put this in,
Yeah, we've actually,
kind of where you were at the beginning and,
yeah, we've probably got about 30 systems in the state that
Okay.
feeds it. Elliott City, Tallahassee, Montgomery, up in North Alabama, Roanoke. Just Opelika's got 2 plants. We just put one in at the new membrane plant, and we're in the process of putting a second unit in at the vet plant, the beer plant. So, and what it does, it helps to oxidize manganese and the chlorine dioxide. What it does, it kills all biofilm in the water and helps get out the TOC and the organics in the raw water. And that way you don't have to feed as much chlorine to do that, and that's where it reduces the trimethane and arsenic acids. It's a very simple process. You take chlorine gas and chlorate, mix them together, and it generates a chlorine dioxide gas, and then you inject that in the water.
With the seeding that you have done, if you had to give a guesstimated percentage of the quality of water, how much better it had gotten, what would you
We've seen an estimate of 30 to 40% reduction in the trimethane and arsenic acids. And just Opelika, their manganese, they couldn't run the new plant on account of the manganese was high, yellow water, didn't meet the requirements. They got us to come in and actually install the chlorine dioxide 2 days after we installed it, so it pumping water. So, Roanoke trimethane, you can get with Kevin up there, I can see the results.
Well, I'm
I think I
just-
need to.
just understanding it a little bit,
Yeah.
so
And,
you spend money for one process to save in another area. But at the end of the day, even if the costs were even,
You gotta
and there was an
water.
improvement in the quality of the water, that becomes a win situation. I mean, at the end of the day, if the quality of the water improves and the cost is very similar, then,
And he has spent countless time in our plants doing jar tests with his chemical, and has showed me his results based on our results we got at the plant for that day, and they were tremendously lower than what we were actually getting with the chemicals we're feeding right now. So I've seen it firsthand too, that it does work.
in the 90-day trial, that's basically set up, during that time, we could see some of the results,
Oh, yeah.
at that time, and then, this is a budget meeting.
Yeah, and then we
However,
would make a decision on whether we actually want to continue the
at a later
process.
council meeting, if we decided we wanted to go in that direction, then we would have 90 days to see the results and things like that.
Yes.
If you do decide to go with that, we maintain all the equipment. You know, they wouldn't have to maintain anything. We'd have the chemical order when not, and all that, so. We go out in the system, pull samples, run tests and all that, so. We would work with her, so.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
definitely sounds good.
Okay, our camera system has went out at the water plant, and we're required by ADM to have a camera system because of,
How long has it been out?
anybody can come in and, it just went, it kind of still works a little bit, but it's really fuzzy, and you can't see it real good. Our monitor's about to go completely out. One day we might come in, it'll be totally fuzz, you can't see nothing, and then one day we might come in and you might can see a little bit. But basically, we have no way of seeing anybody that pulls up at the gate, who they are, what they're doing. All we have is a beeper that lets us know somebody's out there. And sometimes if you're out in the filter room washing a filter, or whatever, you can't hear that beeper.
Do we have a cost on that? Yeah,
I budgeted 2,000, but it's not gonna be that much. I've got one estimate today, it's around 1,000. I just put 2,000 because I wasn't really sure,
what it may need.
what we may need or whatever. I would really like to do how we have it, right now we have it wired in, it's not using Wi-Fi. You can get them now where you can use Wi-Fi, but I would rather have it wired in, because our Wi-Fi don't always work at the water plant. it does sometimes and it don't sometimes. So, that's just something that I've gotta get, you know, put back in there. It was working when they then came and everything was good, but I gotta get it changed out. The SCADA system, I already talked about, and the new chemicals, and that's it on the water plant. But this chemical addition, using this new chemical and that SCADA is the main two things that I have going on that I would like to talk about in the future, maybe getting going.
Okay. Anything, Liz, that you're the numbers expert. I just see him there looking and thinking and everything, and I'm trying to pull it out just a little bit. So, look, thank you very much. It's been informative to me. And what each department head has done up until this point, they presented their budget, they presented the reasons that they feel like that they needed each item. Now then, we can come back in and look, and we still use this term, the wish list,
Oh, yeah.
and the reality of some things that we know that we have to
Yeah.
have. And definitely when we can get any type of new item or new service that provides better service to our citizens, and it's at a cost that we can afford, that's definitely something we want to pursue. Whether it's water, whether it's electric, whether it's police, EMT, or anything like that, that becomes a win-win situation. So we want as many of these win-win situations as we can possibly put into our budget.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Well, with that being said, let's do this officially. We have a motion to close the work session.
I make a motion to close the work session. Second.
And motion second, close the work session. All in favor say aye. Aye. Work session is now closed. We will begin our regular, a special call council meeting at 6 o'clock. That is going to replace Monday night's regularly scheduled meeting where the city and other state offices were closed for Veterans Day. So we'll do that at 6 o'clock. Thank you for coming.